When you're passionate about growth and development, it emanates in your talk, in your behavior, and in your smile. Your belief in your work becomes a mission to give and support others in improving their well-being. My guest's belief is so strong, her work has strongly impacted many people in different areas of the world. Let's get talking and ask 10 questions to my extraordinary guest, Dr. Jase Moussa-Inaty.
Yay!
And Jase, yay!
That was gorgeous.
Yeah, we're so happy to do this.
I'm really excited, to be honest.
Yeah, me too.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming. Thanks for reaching out. I'm really blessed to meet you.
You know what? It all started by hearing you and your beautiful poetry.
Oh,
and I'm
really?
like, okay,
was it from the poetry?
It was from a poetry that you were reading, and I started following you, and I thought I need to reach out.
I'm so
and then,
happy.
And then you were really prompt to respond, so that was great.
Yeah, it was great. I'm really happy to have met you because we have, besides the friendship, we have a lot to talk about today.
Absolutely.
But tell us a little bit about yourself so like we can give an idea for everybody to know what we're going to talk about.
Sure. I am an educational psychologist. Mm-hmm. First and foremost, I am a daughter, a sister, a wife, a mother, a human mother, and a furry mother as well.
Yeah, I was gonna say you have pets too.
And I love food. I love cooking. I love what I do. I love everything I do. I love meeting people.
I have to say something because when you sent me your CV, it's like this much.
Quite long.
It would take like a year to read it all. So, and because you're such you love life, you do everything that you can to take advantage of life.
Alhamdulillah, I'm blessed. I really am blessed. And I think when you come from a loving family, a family who's not too critical,
right,
and very sort of encouraging of the things that you do, but also has strong values and strong ties, and you're driven by your motivation, and I think that helps.
Right. You're encouraged.
As you grow, you're encouraged, and you're doing it for yourself. You're not doing it for others. You know, when others like it, that's a plus. But when you do it for yourself, I think that's so important as well. It comes out more authentically, and it grows organically. So
let's talk about one of the papers that you wrote, and it's about reflective writing. So you did a study, and you wrote a paper on reflective writing. I didn't even know reflecting writing was a thing. I used to think it's just like writing in your diary. I didn't know it was like a broad field or anything like this. So can you define for us what reflective writing is?
Yeah, see, by human nature, we constantly think about things, and most of the time we do think about, what we've done, or, a lot of the time we don't get in depth with that. And so, but that kind of reflection is when we're thinking about what happens and our experiences. So reflective writing is pretty much the same thing, but it's rather than keeping it in your mind, you're actually putting it down in text. So it's a reflection, but in written format. So you're writing it down. And that can be, yes, as you say, in the form of journaling. It could be when I was working at the United Arab Emirates with my interns, with my students, as a way of getting them to reflect. I asked them to write their reflections about their experiences out in the field, so we can use those reflections, provide feedback, and improve their teaching skills and working with children. So that's one of the reasons why we engage in reflective writing. There's so many advantages to it.
Yeah.
And I think the main one is that you get an insight into the person's mind. It sort of acts like a bridge between the reader and the writer.
Even the writer gets an insight into their own mind.
Absolutely. And the thing is, with reflective writing, there's so many different levels. The paper, in my paper, I talk about, so there's surface reflection, and there's really what we really want and what we really seek is deep reflections. And not everybody can do that. But the good news is it can happen with practice, number one. Yeah. And also sometimes people need guidance. And in this research paper that I've done, I've provided a set of questions that if you're really poor at writing reflections, by merely answering these questions, you'll come up with a piece of deep reflective writing.
Okay, so it's kind of a way to get them to start.
It's a guide, absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting. How do you get them to start writing without cheating, going towards AI?
Good one.
Because we're so tempted now, especially the generation that's growing up with AI. They go right away to AI to look for everything nowadays.
Absolutely. And we have to definitely be cautious. And that's a great question, Patricia, because, so I'm okay with AI.
Yeah.
But I'm okay with us using it intentionally, not excessively, number one. Number two, I'm okay with us using, this is my expert opinion, I'm okay with people using AI so long as they have some kind of background information on the topic. Why is this important for me? Because when you have background information on a specific topic, you are now able to critique and to question and to argue with AI rather than just accept it as a matter of fact, because AI is quite confident. ChatGPT is quite confident. The way they present information is like, this is it, and that's the way it is. But it's not always the way it is, and it's not always accurate. So the way we prompt is very important. So how to use AI is important, when to use AI, and what are you using it for is important. So with reflective writing, if you're lost for words, I always say start with something before you go to AI.
Okay.
Start with something.
Right.
If time permits. So typically this is where being organized can be very helpful.
Okay.
If you're rushed for time and you're not organized, you're very, very likely to run to AI and to ChatGPT to gain information. Yeah. So being organized can help us sort of take that pre-step, write something, and then AI can be a great tool, for reviewing our work, giving us some additional ideas, or even giving us a different angle to things.
It's kind of like discussing with somebody.
You can discuss it with somebody. AI can be like a mentor as well, or can be like a partner, like our partner, in the writing process.
Okay.
Sometimes people have great ideas, but they also lack the vocabulary. They lack the language, and this is where AI can come into place. So you get it. Don't just take it. Learn that language that AI presents you with.
Okay. You made me think of something.
Go for it.
Because when we talk with AI, we're not afraid of being criticized, of being judged. Whereas maybe I'd like to reach out to you for your help. You're an expert in several fields and everything. But maybe I'm afraid that you'll criticize me too much, or you'll say, no, this isn't right. You have to do something like this. So are we maybe feeling too comfortable with AI? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do know what you mean. That's a really good point. I think...
we don't want to distance ourselves from the human connection.
Mm-hmm. Listen, I think personality comes into play, confidence comes into play, level of expertise in a specific area comes into play. Okay. I think when you're an expert or you're more knowledgeable about a topic, like my area of expertise is cognitive overload, right? So if I'll be equally confident talking to you about it, and AI with it as well. Mm-hmm. But if it's something about, I don't know, cars that I'm not very, confident with, I probably will feel more comfortable maybe with AI, but given my specific personality, I'm also very comfortable talking about it with others because I'm comfortable to say, I don't know about that, because that to me is a strength.
Or I made a mistake.
Yeah. Because that's metacognitive. That's knowing what you know, knowing what you don't know.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
It's actually a strength. We want people to hold those metacognitive thoughts and to know that we don't know everything. If you believe that you know everything, your learning is gonna decline,
decrease,
or maybe even just be where it is. Okay. When you know that you know a lot, but there's still a lot to learn, that mindset that helps you to grow and develop further.
Okay.
And so if you have that mindset, whether you go to AI or somebody else, it should be okay.
How did they feel after doing this program or this study?
That's another great question. I can tell you that the research results indicated that students who actually used, because I didn't want to force the students to use these guiding questions because they are specific and you're sort of gearing them towards towards one angle. Right. Although you will get a deep reflection, but you're still sort of gearing them. So, and that's something we don't want to do, especially with reflections, because reflections are very personal. Yeah. But I can tell you, because it was English was their second language.
Oh, it was their second language.
It was a second language. Okay. This is in the United Arab Emirates at Zayed University. I love my students and I miss them so much.
Okay, you'll be able to see them soon then.
Yeah. And so the students that actually used the guiding questions actually came up with more deep reflective writing.
Oh, interesting.
So the results were quite interesting. Yes, it was.
And this was done in English?
This was done in English, yeah.
Okay.
The language of instruction.
Comfortable?
They felt comfortable. Yeah. They could read and write in English perfectly well.
Right.
But to write a reflection as well in a second language may not be as simple as writing or thinking reflectively in your native language.
Right.
Right?
Okay. So this is like a controlled setting, if you want.
Yes.
So if me, like as a mom, for example, I want to get my kids, they're not going to listen to me anyways. But I mean, if I want to encourage them or say, like I tell them sometimes, write, but they don't really, kids are like that, they're used to easy, everything that's very easy.
Yeah.
How can we encourage them to just try to do this a little bit? Or at least to start.
Yeah, I think as a starting point for reflections, whether it's in between you and yourself, between, saying it out loud or in written format, to me, it's all about reflective, about reflection and reflecting. So I think as a starting point, I don't recommend you go to your kids or go to somebody, you need to start reflecting, you need to start that. I think because we have experiences on a day-to-day basis, and they're positive ones, they're negative ones, they're new ones, they're ones that you share and I'm going to learn from you. So just the conversations. So that's an interesting, I'll just take Joseph, my son, for example.
Right.
Joseph, so tell me about yesterday, Great. And he'll tell me about an experience he had. And I'm like, okay, so let's assume you had a chance to do this all over again. Would you do the exact same thing? So that's a prompt. That's a question that's gonna produce a reflective answer.
Right.
So getting him to think this way, and have our conversations with our children or loved ones or people around us can be questions that prompt reflections.
Okay.
And once they get into the habit of questioning and going over things and how would they do things differently and what were the advantages, what were the disadvantages, what did you learn from this experience? All of these just in our day-to-day conversations. Once they get into the habit of thinking this way, then you've won on that front.
Okay.
And when it comes to having it in written format, as you say, sometimes they want things to be rushed, but there are quite a few tools out there, AI powered tools. And I think one of them is, some of them are Reflectly, Journey, and they provide actually
those
templates.
Are AI templates for writing?
Yeah, these are AI tools, applications that, people can use.
Right.
One of them is Wiser as well. There's Cactus AI, which actually provides reflective writing templates, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
So the templates is there, and all you need to do is just input that information.
So it's like prompts for you to write.
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
It gives you sort of the structure, and then you just sort of put information and you come up with a great piece. So if you are struggling to find or to encourage somebody to write a reflection, where to start, where to end, there are some AI apps that can help us on that front as well.
Okay, so now you made me think of something else, another related topic, because you're talking about conversations with our children and everything. Our children are on their screens all the time, and we're having trouble even talking with them and getting them off their screens to just talk with them.
Yeah.
So this is about social media. This is it's a very, very wide topic, I know, but I don't know how to start. Actually, maybe you can let's just start by saying, what are some of the health hazards about social media?
Yes, there are quite a few.
Right.
There are quite a few health hazards, and there are a lot of benefits to social media as well, I have to say.
Yeah. We met each other through social media.
We did.
Yeah.
We did. And I think we were both mature enough, and we have good self-regulation that we know how much and how to experience social media and how much we allow it into our lives, into our hours, into our minutes of the day.
Yeah.
Sometimes we have to be just very blunt with our children.
Okay.
I think first and foremost, what we really need to realize is the age level that we need to allow our children and our students. Well, by the time they're older students, that's fine. But our children, when they are allowed social media, and social media is what, looking at Instagram, TikTok, what else? What is it?
Snapchat?
Snapchat, yes, the Snapchat. So there's a whole bunch of outlets out there, and I think the age group, getting our kids to be aware of what they offer. So yes, it's not just about connecting with others, but it's also being able to respond and to cope with positive and negative comments, positive and negative experiences, because not all comments are going to be from friends, or even from friends. They're going to be like, they might make a comment which is going to be very public, and how are you going to cope with that? I mean, even as adults, we find that very hard sometimes.
There's a lot of bullying online.
There's a lot of bullying, and that takes us back to the cyberbullying, not just bullying itself, which is a different level of bullying, And so to manage that is start with when you allow your children to have social media.
Okay.
If you decide that, okay, now it's time for them to have social media, it doesn't end there. There needs to be conversations. There needs to be awareness. There needs to be a plan.
Right.
How often do you sleep with your phone? Is it in the same room? Is it outside? How often are you checking? There are apps to help with that. My daughter, Anna Grace, just recently, and she did this by herself, and I'm so proud of her. Wow. What she did was there's an app that sort of restricts her from looking at social media as the first thing when she wakes up.
Oh, really?
And then she has something else, which is a really nice prayer and stuff to look at for like 10, 15 minutes before she looks at social media. So there are lots of things out there to help as well, other than parents talking and but
because we need to get them away from their screens to be able to talk to them also.
And listen, at the end of the day, we're their parents. And even though they say no, we say no too. And we are the ones.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not, there are things that we negotiate, things that we don't negotiate.
Yeah.
When it comes to health and safety, and when I say health and safety, not just physical health, also mental, socio-emotional. So when it comes to health and safety, there are times where we will not negotiate. We will drop the authoritative parenting style, which is a negotiation, and take on a more firm stand when it comes to their health and safety. Social media is on that front.
Okay.
So doing a detox as well is a great thing.
How did you get them to do detox?
You simply take it away. If they can't give it to you. Oh, absolutely.
I was going to ask you about that.
You just take it away. Well, we don't want to take it away unless they don't give it to you. But hopefully you've already established and you have a good connection with your child that you can have this conversation with them. And even though they may think that, this is going to be horrible, how's this going to work? Show them that you're empathetic and say, I hear you. I see that this is going to be really hard, but I'm so proud for you, of you for trying.
Okay.
And we're going to take it away and we're going to test it. And you're going to sort of get them busy doing other things. Yeah. And even if they're not busy, just detoxing, getting it out of their system might be a little bit of a struggle. They might feel lonely.
It's a lot of a struggle.
Because it's very stimulating.
Yeah.
Social media is extremely stimulating. Mentally, your brain is on, you got dopamine levels skyrocketing the whole time. And so when you're off, it's like, everything looks dull and boring. And that's why we hear more and more kids saying that it's boring, it's dull. My kids are not allowed to say that they're bored. Sorry.
Okay.
They can't. Even since they were young, they can't use this word. It's not a bad word, but it's a big word.
But the thing is that they have access to so much and they don't realize.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you don't need to be doing something to
quiet time doesn't
to be
mean
doing
boring
something.
Time.
Yeah. You can be doing something just between you and yourself and your mind.
Right. Okay.
And it doesn't always have to be action. We need to chill. We need to take a break, and boost. And before we move on, it doesn't have to be rushed. And it's okay because my kids would sometimes say that, but my friends have it, or others. Actually, many people.
That's the weapon that they use
the
all the time.
Mothers would come and tell me, my kids would be okay. Mothers would tell me, but haram, their friends have it all. I'm like, it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
No big deal.
But that takes a lot of parenting time, a lot of presence, Parents sometimes are busy. Mm-hmm. They're working. When they come home, they have their chores at home. And sometimes the phone is just like I don't want to say a babysitter, but it keeps the kids company, keeps them quiet, doesn't keep them nagging and things like that.
That's true.
So it takes a lot of effort on our part sometimes.
Yeah, I agree with you. But I think if we leave things open, it can be very exhausting and draining. And I think we can tackle that by having set rules and regulations in collaboration with your children.
Right.
Where you don't need to repeat stuff. The rules are there. Rules have been put together.
Yeah.
And have been revisited on a weekly basis or fortnightly basis, depending on how well the rules are being applied. Okay. And so you're safe. You don't need to repeat stuff.
Yeah.
They know.
The trouble is short term, because on the long term, things will work out. You think? It'll be easier, like like if you put all the effort on the short term, on the long term, it'll be more smooth, like control with the social media.
I think it's an ongoing thing.
Okay.
Parenting, whether it's parenting for social media or discipline or study time or doing homework or going out with friends or tidying up your room, this is an ongoing thing. We need to have set rules. We need to follow up as parents. We need to ask our children to evaluate how do they feel about the rules. Let them evaluate. It doesn't always have to come from the parents.
So it's like a discussion.
It's a discussion.
Yeah.
It's a partnership, seeing if things are working, checking in on each other.
Right. Because we don't want to make it sound like it's bad, like you said, because it could be good.
It could be great. And actually we need to highlight the good. The thing is, by nature, and this is our physical nature, we tend to pay closer attention to the negative, to the no's, to the things that have been hurtful to us. And somehow, because we expect good to happen, we sort of dismiss it.
Right.
But I think our challenge as parents is to be able to focus more on the positives and to use those as strengths.
So to guide them towards the positive, maybe there's some positive accounts to follow.
To recognize it. When I see something good in my daughter, which is like, she's been cleaning her room and I've been at her for God knows how long.
Right.
If I see one day that her room is made, I'm not going to be like, yeah, that's good. I'm going to go talk to her. You know what, Anna Gracie or Krista, whatever, I'm so happy. I love it. And I love the detail you put when you tucked in just make up something, you know what I mean?
I have to be honest, Jase, because I'm not that energetic and happy as you are. In such a positive mood all the time. But I mean, I get to it. Yeah, it's challenging to always be uplifted mood,
If you can't do 10 positives a day, at least do one. If you can't do it once a day, at least do it once every second day.
Okay.
But try to make it happen. Yeah. And then the thing is, when it comes naturally, it becomes automated. It becomes something part of your life. It won't be that demanding,
I'm going to ask you something maybe from your own experience. Do you think that you ever made a mistake with your children regarding this? That you learned from,
I wouldn't say a mistake per se, but maybe something that I've overlooked.
Oh, okay.
So, so I've got 3 kids, Joseph, Krista, Maria, and Anna Grace. And what I used to do when they were younger is I would pass by each one of their rooms and give them nice massages and sing for them. Although they slept alone, but this was my sort of tucking them into bed. And I would always start with Joseph, the eldest, and then do Krista Maria, the middle, and then Anna Grace, the youngest.
Okay.
And then as a way of evaluating myself, so I would ask my kids, how would you evaluate me as a parent, as a mother? Is anything I can work on? And I'm thinking I'm going to get 10s out of 10.
Oh, really?
Rate me from 1 to 10. So I got that from my eldest and my youngest, but Krista was like, yeah, probably a 7. I'm like, oh okay.
Wow.
So of course, but to ask such a question, you have to be ready for anything. You can't expect them to. And I would tell them, be honest as possible. You're not going to get in trouble even if you give me a 2.
That's very open-minded of your part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is, I think. Yeah. It is. Thank you. Yeah. I'll take that as a compliment.
Yeah, of course.
So Krista was like, yeah, probably a 7. I'm like, oh, okay. So what was it that took me down from a 10 to a 7? She's like, every time you go into Joseph, like he's always first, or Anna Grace is always last. I'm always in the middle, so I'm always missing out being first or last for you to come in. And I'm like, you know what, Krista, I never thought about that. So that was something I'd missed. Yeah. So that was a perception that I didn't see. So it wasn't something bad, but it was something that I could have maybe considered. And so I said, that is absolutely right, Krista. We are going to do a second child privilege that no one's going to get because you are the second child. We did that.
Yeah, they always have something.
Missing out. So I made sure that she had a privilege. And one of them was, sitting in front because, Joseph is elder, so he would sit in the front seat. So we had privileges where Krista, maybe once or twice a week going to school, would sit in the front.
Okay.
So just do something to acknowledge what she said and to know that, even as adults, there's always room for improvement. We don't know everything, and we don't claim that we know everything. And it's good to know lots of things. Sorry, it's good to know. It's good to question, and it's good to show your children that you're eager to improve. Right. And this is all part of human growth and development. Yeah. And this is my passion. This is where my passion lies. And I think it was Nietzsche who talks about defining man, it's very hard to define man because they're ever evolving and ever changing. But we can define a chair. We can say, a chair or a stool has three, but man, because they're ever changing, he said the only time we can define man is when they die. We can say that he was so-and-so or she was so-and-so.
He arrived to his conclusion.
That's it. This is how they are. But because we're changing on all fronts, physically, mentally, socio-emotionally, and this is so positive.
But it's on the contrary. I was just going to say it's a blessing.
It's a blessing indeed,
It means that we're learning and growing. And
we have opportunities. Not everybody looks at it that way.
Right.
If we look at it as a way of that we're evolving and we still have a chance to learn and to grow. And if we keep our muscles the way they are as we grow, they're going to, so keeping them stimulated will help. Slow the process, make us stronger mentally. As we grow, our cognitive ability will decline, whether or not we like it. This is the aging process. But if we keep ourselves mentally stimulating, writing poetry, doing research.
Yeah, I told you can write poetry too.
Yeah.
You said that you can, but I think
Maybe.
you can if you put your mind to it. Anybody can.
Probably, absolutely.
Yeah, it's just that first step.
Absolutely. So I'm all about growth and development. So it's all good.
You're all about so much, actually, and I don't even know how to start and how to finish and everything, and there's so much more that we can talk about, so maybe we'll be able to do another podcast soon.
Happy to do that.
Any topic you wish.
Sure.
So, Jase, where can people find you?
Oh boy, so I have an Instagram account. It is Dr. Jase Psych. And,
I'll put it in the description.
That'll be great.
Yeah.
And I do post reels related to different psychological topics, and they're quite diverse because as an educational psychologist, we look at human growth and development from preconception all the way to death and dying, and we look at motivation and relationships and parenting. So I know quite a bit on a few, and I've taught different classes, and I've done quite a few research studies on different topics as well. So you may find that the topics are diverse and not geared towards one area. So don't, for those who follow me,
it keeps us informed.
Yes, absolutely.
And it keeps us engaged because they're done in a very fun way. So it's not dry. It's not like you just coming up and talking and about a specific topic.
And they're quite different. Some of them are more professional than others. Some of them are just very fun. But I'm open if anybody wants to reach out. I do my best to help when I can, if I can, given the time that I have. So
you keep us surprised.
Keep you surprised.
For something new.
Yeah.
My last question, which I ask all my guests, what makes the ordinary extraordinary?
Oh, I didn't prepare for that.
You're not supposed to.
I know. What makes the
ordinary extraordinary?
I always used to tell my students something, and I tell my kids this now, is that when you're asked to do something, doing it is ordinary. Okay. Doing it differently and going over and beyond is what will make you stand out.
Oh, okay.
So that to me, I think, is key.
Yeah.
Just standing out. And to me, love is everywhere. If there's love and passion, I think whatever comes out will be a little bit, it will have a kick to it.
Yeah, it will make it extraordinary.
It will make it extraordinary.
This is amazing.
All good.
Yeah, thank you, Jase.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, thank you for coming and for reaching out, and really lucky. Really enjoyed it too.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.